I could tell this guy was going to fall from grace the second I heard this crappy sermon. Doug thinks his sermon was great, he sees his parents, waves at them, and then witnesses their gruesome deaths. Doug learns some important life lessons from Father Stewart.
It's what parents do. They die on you.
Stewart gives Doug more advice.
You should travel, Doug. Go where you think God will not follow.
Doug follows Stewart's travel advice by going into the wilderness, which is definitely where I also would go if I was trying to avoid God. It's historically the best place to avoid him. While hiking in the wilderness, some Asian chick gets shot with an arrow, rolls down the hill, gives Doug a magic rock, which he cuts himself with, which is also the source of his powers, and then he faints after cutting himself and teleports back home, without getting attacked by the guy who shot the woman in the first place. After teleporting back home, Doug makes a good first impression on his future love interest.
God, watch it!
Her name is...
Carol.
She's a hooker, and her pimp's name is...
Frankie Mermaid.
And do you want to know why he's called Frankie Mermaid?
'Cause you're swimming in bitches!
While looking for clients, Carol meets the creepy guy from Men in Black 2.
Hey, pretty lady. You taste good.
Doug is only hungry enough to eat the shady guy, but isn't hungry enough to eat Carol. The next morning, Doug wakes up, naked, in Carol's bed. Carol walks sexily over to Doug and says,
Last night was amazing.
She thinks this means dinosaurs are amazing, and he thinks she's talking about sex. Fucking idiots.
So we can never say it.
Wait, what are you even talking about?
What are you talking about?
Carol thinks that showing a man with amnesia a dead body will convince him that he has dinosaur powers.
Jesus!
Understandably, this man is so traumatized by the ensuing conversation that he thinks doing confessions will help him feel better.
Doug!
I have to do confessions.
Right now?
Yes, right now!
As luck would have it, Frankie Mermaid is the first person to go into that confessional booth that day.
How long has it been since your last confession?
Since I last confessed? Oh, Jesus. Padre, you're gonna make me... let's see,
Through this confession, Doug finds out Frankie Mermaid has killed his parents, and rather than letting him repent, he kills him.
shit on a Tuesday.
You murdered my parents!
Meanwhile, nobody in this entire fucking church hears Frankie Mermaid screaming while getting ripped apart by a dinosaur. Doug tells Carol he likes killing people and decides to use his powers to kill people who he deems to be wicked. Great idea, Doug. What could go wrong?
Who is Father Stewart?
This is a good thing. A good thing. We're gonna help people.
After which Carol and Doug just stare at each other. What? Movie montage. You know what that means? It's popcorn refill time. Doug is dumb enough to flirt with a known hooker in front of his own church. So naturally, Father Stewart discovers him and confronts him.
Have you forgotten your vow of chastity?
Doug decides to tell Father Stewart that he's been going off murdering people with a known hooker because he enjoys doing it.
I can rid the world of this scum with my bare hands, don't you see?
Doug sees a weird flashback in his mind with his parents, and his parents laugh way too much. Father Stewart takes Doug
Somewhere the church forgot.
While Doug converses with the exorcist, we hear Father Stewart's thoughts.
I haven't had to come to Altair in years. Not since the war.
Which initiates a flashback so terrible, I won't even show it to you. Oh, except the part where Father Stewart's girlfriend travels to an active war zone to see him and steps on a landmine right in front of him. Classic. The exorcism goes so wrong, it actually makes Doug transform into a dinosaur, and then he claws out Father Stewart's eye. After the exorcism fails, Carol and Doug decide to fuck each other. At least, I think they do. It's a montage with hands. It's mostly just hands. And then the montage flashes the audience so many times, they put the Men in Black to shame.
Would you stop that? What? That thing is gonna give her brain cancer or something.
The next morning, they get attacked by ninjas, and we get to see more of Carol's panties during this scene than we did the entire handsy sex montage earlier. Somehow, between getting his eye cut out and Doug and Carol fingering each other, Father Stewart gets kidnapped by the mystery enemy that hasn't made sense this whole movie. This enemy wants Father Stewart to get the church involved in drug trafficking for reasons?
I don't understand. What does drug smuggling have to do with Christianity?
Everything. You're goddamn right.
And because Father Stewart doesn't want to deal drugs, they kill him. While Doug plans for his revenge for Father Stewart's death, which doesn't make any sense that he would know how Father Stewart died in the first place, he remembers a ninja told him about a secret hideout location.
Good thing that ninja told us where the hideout was before he died.
But did the ninja tell him about a secret location? Let's check.
Remember your faith, Father Jones.
After finding the secret hideout, we find out Doug has a brother.
Remember me now?
Brother!
Remember that one scene where Doug's parents laughed too much? Well, through that scene, we come to find out that Doug's parents didn't even consider their second son to be a part of their family.
You're my only son. You're my only son.
Which you'd think was sad, but Doug just happily kills him, so I guess you could say this priest isn't his brother's keeper. While this is happening, Carol lets a bad guy slice his sword across her chest.
There's a shortage of perfect breasts in this world. Twould be a pity to damage yours.
Whoa, slow down there, farm boy. While Doug is mourning Carol's death, the evil henchman looked so regretful. Are you seeing this? Come on, guys.
You had one job.
And you fulfilled it. So be happy. Celebrate. Make some noise. Because Carol is dead, Doug gives into his rage and kills all the bad guys. Then he gets shot, which for some reason turns him back into a human. After monologuing in a foreign language, Doug rips off the bad guy leader's head and lifts it to the sky. This is literally the only thing I hear when I watch this. Oh, you thought Carol was dead? Well, she's alive and being cared for by a doctor who has a habit of smoking other people's blunts. After Carol is released from the hospital, Doug follows the doctor's example by picking up a smoking habit, most likely to cope with the stress of being a dinosaur. And that's it. That's the movie. Now go do something with your lives. Who watches the credits? Come on, guys, go watch something else.